Great. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on such short notice. We will start things off with Pat.
Well, thank you, everybody, for hopping on. Sorry for the short notice. Want to just bring everybody up to speed. Probably most everybody knows now. Jeff, myself, and the team got together and Jeff can get more specific, got together with the guys and the family here. And we made the decision to opt out of playing in the bowl game this year. We're very thankful and for the ACC and our bowl partners. But I'm really, really proud of our players to make this decision and doing what's right for themselves. And I'm proud of what they accomplished this year. And I think, this is a tough year. It was a really tough year for them. And I can't speak high enough about what the commitment our team did with one another. And I want people to understand, a lot of these young men haven't hugged their loved ones since June, and they haven't been with their family since June, and they committed to this process. And we told them from the very beginning that if you control your own destiny and you just stay healthy, we're going to get our games in. And I'm very, very, very proud of them and the sacrifices they made for our fans and for everyone. And so I said, they accomplished great things this year. But we made this decision as a Boston College football family. And I'm proud of Jeff and the staff, because it was a commitment by 153 people to stay COVID healthy. COVID's undefeated. And we
I think you accidentally muted yourself.
bomb.
It's usually Rich's fault when that happens, so Rich gets a fine for that.
That's right. So, anyways, Jeff.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Pat hit it. My job as the head coach and the leader of the team is to have a good pulse for this football team. And my first year, I think I've had a good feel for that. Whether it was in training camp when I had to dial things back, whether it was taking a day off when the players needed to sit down and talk. And, really when it started with that, even at the Virginia game, when I went back and watched the tape, and I think the week was awesome. The guys gave everything they had, but just looked a little different. And spending time with the guys this week on the field in practice and just being around them, I just felt like the mental strain and the physical strain was wearing on them. And, mental health is something that's very important to me. And obviously physical health, but mental health is really important to me. And I think how we got to this point, and we've talked a lot about this, and it's just the truth. Since June 28th, our guys have went above and beyond what most of us could do. And I include myself in that. For them to stay healthy and stay away from COVID and go through 9,000 tests and have one positive throughout the season, it took more out of them than anybody has any idea, including me. I mean, it was hard for us to do it as coaches, but let's just talk about the players. And they're worn out. I mean, I had a lot of meetings with players this week. Guys didn't go out. I have a kid who lives 1 hour away who, since June 28th, has not seen his family and given his mom a hug. And, as we look now with other teams continuing to battle COVID, with Michigan, Ohio State being canceled, Purdue, Indiana, Oklahoma, West Virginia, it's getting worse. And for us to go through 3 weeks of practice, continue to stay healthy, continue to stay away from our families, and then not know, is the bowl game really going to happen? Or are we going to miss Christmas with our families and then be told on the 25th that we're really not going to play? Because these kids want to play football. They do. It has nothing to do with that. But 11 games, 9 in a row at one point, without having their mom or dad there after the game to hug them or say hello, the mental health of these kids is more important to me than anything. And it's my job as a leader to get a good feel for the team. And we talked. And this is all the truth, guys. You guys know me. I'm not going to make stuff up. And we decided the best thing, the biggest reward we could give these players. Because remember, I told you I wanted to reward these players. And a bowl game, in my opinion, is a week away with your friends. being able to go out, meet other teams, meet other coaches, hang out with each other, spend the holidays there with their families together. And that's not the case this year. It's not going to happen. So the biggest reward we could give the team was to be able to go and let them finish finals and go spend time with their families, see their moms, their dads, their brothers, their sisters, their grandparents, and enjoy the holidays with their families. And they've earned it, and they deserve it. And an incredible year. And maybe 6-5 doesn't show how incredible it was, but it's so much more than that because we accomplished so much more than anybody thought we could. And what it seems like most of the world in college football hasn't been able to do. And they gave everything they had. And it's the right thing to do to get these kids home, finish finals, go be with their families, take a deep breath, and be kids again. They deserve it. The staff deserves it. And I stand by the decision. And, it's a different year. And we'll be back, and we'll be excited with a ton of energy. And next year we'll be sitting here talking about a great bowl game that we're heading to. But this is the right thing to do right now. I truly believe it's the best thing for this team. And for Boston College.
With that, we'll open up for questions. We'll start things off with Julian.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hi, Pat. Hi, Jeff. Good to see you. Glad you're doing well. I think first question is, obviously, it was a student athlete's decision. How did they present it to you guys, and how did they voice their desire to kind of opt out?
Yeah, I can take that. Like I mentioned, Julian, I have a good pulse and a good feel for this football team. And I'm in constant communication with them, and Pat and I talk all the time. So, we just kept talking, and I kept getting a sense of it. So I called the leadership council together, and I wanted them to let me know how they felt. And then I told them to kind of see how the team feels. And then we brought them together again. And, it was a team decision, everybody's decision, but I wanted it to come from the team. That was very important to me. But that's really how it started, Julian. And then Pat and I met with them again, and that's what we decided to do.
Yeah, I don't think the decision was – this is not made lightly. Everybody in this building, everyone a part of this program and our department, we're all competitors. And we wanted to make sure that they took the time and they – we communicated, and this is all built on trust. And we talk about family all the time, and we're going to do it all together. And I'm really proud of them for doing something that, others might not make that call, but, making the decision that's right for their own well-being and their teammates.
We'll go next to Rich.
The leadership council is Max and a couple other guys, right? I know Max is on it, but I'm not sure who else.
Yeah, it's one player from every position, Julian. So earlier in the season, what I did, I had each position group vote on one guy. So there wasn't just captains. It was somebody that kind of had the voice of each position group that, truthfully, it helped me get through the season. Because you find as a leader in really hard times, you can't do it all by yourself. You got to have great people, and they are. And they helped me out tremendously. And this is a time I really needed to lean on them. And I saw it and I felt it. And it's the right decision.
We'll go next to Rich.
Oh, hi, Patrick. Jeff's right. A bowl without amenities and without the extra practice sessions isn't really worth it. But does the school take a revenue hit here? Do you make money on bowl games?
Well, seeing as I've only been here a short time, I think it's all how you manage a bowl game and the finances of a bowl game. The finances are going to be drastically different this year from a pure financial standpoint of going and working with the conference. To be very honest, that's been the last thing I've thought about. We haven't even gotten to know where we would be headed. Our focus really has always been on where the guys were. I haven't even looked at the financial ramifications of it, pros or cons, because one of the great things about being here is it's about the students first. What I'm so happy to be here. So, and and every bowl game's different too, right? They have different financials, how you do it, how you travel. To answer that question, I couldn't even tell you an answer, to be honest, where it would be.
We'll go next to Matt Fortuna.
Hey guys, thanks for doing this. Jeff, you guys alluded to this a little bit, but you're all competitors. Is there a little sense of regret right now that you don't get to close this season, the first season, the way you initially would have liked to with this group?
No, none. I don't have any regret on anything this year. The culture was built. The foundation was laid. What we did with COVID was bigger, in my opinion, than any game we could have won. And everything these kids had and everything we gave as coaches, I have no regret. And for those that have talked to me, I give every single thing I can every single day. And when Saturday comes, we let it go, win or lose. And the process was right here. And the last game, losing that doesn't define anything that we've done. So no regret. So appreciative and have so much admiration for this football team and what's ahead. The competitor in me, yeah, I wish I could play every Saturday, but I don't have to put on the uniform. And I don't have to sit in a dorm room by myself every night after practice, not allowed to go hang out with other kids on campus, and not allowed to go out to dinner and not see my mom or dad. These kids do. So, yeah, do I want to coach? Sure, I'll coach all year round. But if, I said when I took this job, one of the reasons I wanted to be here was because you can do things the right way here. You don't cut corners. You're around great people. And I stand by that. That's why this is the right decision. And this is the right move for this team and these players and for the players' families too. So I got no regret, Matt. None at all. I'm very proud.
We'll go next to Nicole Auerbach.
And this is probably for both of you, but one thing that I keep hearing when I talk to coaches around the country is just the stress of taking these tests and waiting on the results, knowing that you're doing the right thing, but you don't know, and just the anxiety of that. I was wondering if you could speak to living in that world where so much is at stake and you don't have that immediate result. And so as you're sitting at home every night, you're kind of just maybe anxious.
It's
You can go ahead.
I mean, it really is. It's a roller coaster. I mean, we Jeff and I are like, let's get to that Duke game. Let's try to get. And then you talk about being competitors, like how far can we keep these guys going? How can they stay together? And then I think we all took it on. Everybody in the travel party took it on as like, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to stay together. And Nicole, you are so right. You wait every night to get that. And the text chain between Jason and Coach and I, like, we did it. Negatives, all negatives. It became really what it was. And it is a lot to hold on to because, and Jeff's done an amazing job because you got that, then you got to get everything else in line. And, these guys were getting tested 3 times a week and you get up early before a road trip. And it did become, and it has still become with all of our other sports, where do we go? What's the number? Who's positive? And then who's contact? It's exhausting. It really is. Let's just be honest. It is an exhausting process.
Yeah, Nicole, I'll give you an example. So we tested yesterday and, we're not playing this weekend, but I must have texted our doctor probably 5 times or the players' results in or the player, because I just feel so obligated to their parents and their families to take care of these kids. So it's just, when you keep getting that back, it's just like, all right, we did it again and we did it again. And then usually I get players are good, still have not received the coaches yet. So I'm sitting there and, 2 days ago, maybe I had a cough or a sniffle and I'm thinking to myself, should I stay away from my kids? Do I not go near my wife? And then I constantly hit the reset button on my email last night about 100 times until I get the result. And yeah, it weighs on me. It weighs on me a lot. You start to think maybe I have it. My head hurts, or no, you're just really tired. But as of even last night, I'm hitting the reset on the refresh on my email over and over and over again. Where then I text the doctor, I got my email. That must mean I'm good, right? And he texts me back, yeah, you're good. And I'm like, all right. Then I text Pat, we're all good again. And that's just a small example, but that's went on 3 times a week since June 28th. So yeah, that wears on you. And I wouldn't change how we did it, but I'm tired. And just imagine how tired these kids are who are 18, 19, 20, and their whole life isn't football. Mine is right now. It's my family and football. That's what I do. But these kids have a lot of other things going on that they put off. So it's been hard. It's a good question.
We'll go next to David Teal.
Jeff mentioned earlier about the numbers around the country spiking and getting worse. In the last few days, some college basketball coaches have wondered aloud whether a pause might be in order for college basketball. Where do you and Coach Christian in Boston College stand on that?
Well, I tell you, you go through this process and they're just starting. And by the way, they're starting and look what's going on all around us. I mean, the country, I think I was watching the news, 3,000 plus deaths. And it is difficult. And it's, I will tell you this, Boston College as an institution and what Father Leahy and what we've been able to do has been amazing. And the system that was in place and our student athletes have done an incredible job. I think, we evaluate it all the time. I give our hockey teams credit. We go through this same dance that we are doing with football, and we do it with all our sports. And so Jim, Joanna, I mean, all our coaches right now in the winter sports are getting into it. It's a challenge, and it takes a commitment, and it's hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's hard. And we're going to play Syracuse in men's basketball on Saturday. But there was a point last week, we had 5 different opponents. I didn't know who we were playing. Basketball has become it's difficult for the players, the staff, and for everybody. And I understand what everyone's saying. It's tough.
We'll go next to Trevor Haas.
Hey, Jeff, this one's for you. Sounds like it's pretty close to unanimous, at least as close as it can be. But have you had any conversations with seniors who have had some difficulty coping with it, and just what's the move been like around the team in that way?
Good question. The majority of the group that I did speak with on that leadership council, the majority of them are seniors. So, I mean, they felt really good about it. And, again, I'm just always being honest with you guys. I let Max stand up and tell the team. And then obviously Pat and I said stuff and how proud we are of them and how we're all in this together. And when Max told the team that they're going home to see their families, it was like an uproar of excitement. And it was kind of emotional for me because at that moment, I knew that 100% this is the right decision.
We'll go next to Andy Backstrom.
Hey, Jeff, this one's for you and Pat as well. Usually with the bowls, the destination city is a big thing about being able to go around that city and have fun during the weeks leading up to the actual game. Was that a factor into not knowing about what these cities are going to be dealing with in terms of COVID numbers and just the variability of all of it?
I don't think, no. We didn't really talk about, where we were going. We wanted to decide this before. We didn't want anybody to pick us for a bowl game and do an injustice and then say, no, we're not coming. And this is no disrespect to any bowls. It's just, that had nothing to do with it, truthfully.
Yeah. I mean, we operate with control the controllables, right? And the reality is we don't know what would happen. And we had to make a decision soon to get back in and get after it or what we were going to do. And that's out of respect for the conference. It's out of respect for our bowl partners, out of respect for everybody involved. And, but I think it's a really valid point. We don't know what's going to happen in December 23rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and on. And honestly, I really struggled with, if we practice 3 weeks, they miss Christmas with their family, and then we get a call that the bowl's canceled. I have an issue with that. Listen, I love our athletes, but you have to understand, everybody, when we had fans at Clemson, at Virginia Tech, we kept a barrier between athlete and parent or guardian or loved one, like 6 to 8 feet. That's the closest some of these young men have been to family. It's bigger than a game right now. They accomplished everything and they battled and but goodness, that's hard. And I think it's, that's why to go through that. And then all of a sudden it gets, we couldn't control that. That was out of our control. So that's why I'm really proud of where they ended up.
We'll go next to Emma Healy.
Hey, Coach, this one's for you. So sort of going off of what Trevor asked a minute ago, for the seniors, UVA would have been their last game without even knowing it. Do you have any plans to sort of help them get closure on the season, put a cap on their college career, anything like that?
I think the way we treated the senior day and did the best we could to play their last game at home, and then I think some of them deep down might have thought that last one was, but just the way we approach things every week, Emma, it was, it was just about doing the best we could, showing up and giving it all we had. So if you look at our seniors, I think every single one did. I think that might be a good question to ask when you do talk to some of them. But, we talked about rewarding them, getting them bowl gifts, and treating them the right way, and still finding ways to reward them for this season. Because what these seniors have done, in my opinion, they've laid the foundation of what is to come, and they will be remembered for that. And this 2020 season will be one that I never forget, and this group of seniors will always be very, very important to me.
We're going to take a couple more, and then we'll have Max Richardson and Alec Lindstrom joining us. Next, we will go to Andrea Adelson.
Quick question for you guys. Obviously, bowl season is important, but then in January, you all have to start up again, and there isn't going to be a vaccine probably by that time. So how do you proceed forward in January with off-season workouts, and again, asking these guys to continue to make these kind of sacrifices when we don't know where there could be a realistic end to all of it?
That's truthfully, that in my opinion, that also plays into this. They're going to need to go home, take a deep breath, re-energize, and get ready to do it again. And if we pushed them through the 30th or the 28th or January 2nd or 3rd and told them go take 10 days off and do it again, I think mentally they would have no chance. And we're going to finish finals. We're going to meet with each player. We're going to send them home, be with their families, refresh, re-energize. And that was part of our conversation. We do believe that way we'll get them back recharged and ready to go, because truthfully, I got to take a deep breath and get ready to do it again. And I mean that. And I'll find a way and they'll find a way, but we all have to. But that's a really good question. And I wish you didn't remind me of that, but you're right. That's going to be hard for teams to do and to stay consistent with it. So God willing, a vaccine comes to us sooner than later.
We'll go next to Dan Roach.
Dan, I think you're on mute, Dan.
Yeah, there we go. Welcome to being old and trying to do Zooms. So apologize. But just wonder how this year affected you both at your jobs. I mean, as a coach, as an AD, it's 24/7. How has it changed you as a coach, as an athletic director, and as a human being that you can maybe use going forward because of everything you've had to go through as a team?
Oh, I was just doing I had a call before this, and I do think the pandemic has brought a lot of people closer. For me, in this transition, it has been difficult because the sense of community is lost because you're doing it this way, right? You're always on Zoom, and it's just hard to get everyone together. But I do think and I think Jeff is a perfect example of everybody had to buy in together. And I'm not talking just our football program. I'm talking everybody in our department to get to where we are today. It showed what really Boston College is all about. It made me more excited every single day to put on BC gear, because the commitment, the sacrifice, the love that we all have for each other in a department through this very, very difficult time. I tell you what, it got me fired up to be here, and it happens fast, right? Because otherwise, if you didn't, we had to get together early in June and figure out how we were going to get through this. And the only way you can get through something like this is together as a family. Boy, it made me even more excited than I was when I got that call from Father Leahy, because this place is filled with great people. And I think we're talking about our football program, but our fall sports did an incredible job. They got through it together. And so for me, just from a 50,000 foot perspective, watch out when we don't have a global pandemic to compete against, because this place is got some incredible things going. And you know what? You got to look at the blessings there, and I think you always have to look at that. And so I'm not a negative guy. It is what it is. We're going to roll our sleeves up and grind. And I'm really proud of that. For me, that was, I think, the biggest takeaway to get us to this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, envisioning my head job the first time I ever do it. When you think about it at night, all those years, you don't picture yourself running out and just seeing the bleachers and the the way practice had to be structured and team meetings and not being able to really interact with the guys as much one-on-one. So there's so much that I'm going to think about and probably do a lot better in my second year. There's probably less football coaching than I would have liked to have done this year because I had a lot of other things that I had to deal with. But ultimately, what I think it taught me was when you get a group of guys who are told they're not going to be able to do something and you kind of just set out together, like Pat said, and you just keep pushing and you don't make excuses and you don't listen to the outside noise and you ignore everything other than getting the job done, it shows what you can do. It shows when things are really, really hard, if you have the right people, that you can get through them. And you need special people to do that. I said that from the first day I sat here. You win with people. And if we have good people and do things the right way, when hard things get in our way, we'll be able to look back on this and say, this is nothing. Let's get through it together. So I'm going to take the positives like Pat said. I still definitely have a lot to learn and get better at, but I know what we can get through now with the people that we have. So I'm very excited about that.
We're going to take two more for Pat and Jeff. First with Kevin.
Hey, guys. Good to see you. Coach, all season long, you've talked about this team being selfless and putting the team first. This, decision in particular, will you look back on this and consider this, a bigger victory than anything else you could have, done this season?
What are you saying there? The whole ball decision, Kevin?
Yeah, just in general, the decision overall. That's bigger than any win you could have had, right?
Yeah, like I said, I think the decision is the right one. When I look at these kids in the eye and I tell them that, I got their back and that I'm here for them and whatever they need, I'm going to get done. I think it shows everybody that we're going to follow through with that. And when I talk to a kid's parent, whether it's a player on our team or a recruit's parent, and we talk about culture and doing things the right way, and I will take care of your kid, you have my word. I think we've just shown a great example of that.
And we'll wrap things up here for this group with Julian.
Hey, guys. I was just curious, when you think back to that bye week scenario, right, where everything's up in the air, you think you have one thing set up, and then you might have two, and you don't know, when you're going to play. How much did that inform sort of what this could have possibly been like, right, where you don't know how much time you have, who you're playing, if the game's going to be played, and you still have to kind of keep guys together, you know what I mean, and keep whatever systems you have in place to make sure that nothing goes wrong. And also, I missed it earlier, but can you guys confirm? So you guys tested again and still no positives, right, this week?
Yeah, we just got our results. We tested Sunday, we tested yesterday, and all our players are good again. And you can answer that question about if you want about the bye weekend.
Yeah, I look at what I think we've learned is you got to keep everybody in a routine, and when you deviate from the routine, that's when you become vulnerable, right? And with this, I'm a doctor, not the doctor, though I'm a PhD, so I'm trying to figure it out as we go. And I think what we've learned though is keep the guys and the gals keep them in a routine and keep it going, keep testing. And so when you go 2 bye weeks, one is you get anxious enough, but then that second one, I'm gonna be honest, I was a little scared. I was nervous because it changes the rhythm. And with our male and female athletes, when they're in a rhythm, then they're good. You get it, and classwork, practice, testing, boom, boom, boom. You get away, and so. We worked really hard with the conference when things started to get adjusted, to get that game back, the Louisville game back, so that we could stay focused. Jeff and the guys never flinched. They went about their process. I just said, you got to hang tight with me. You got to hang tight. We're going to have to get ready for 2 opponents right now, but that we're fighting to get the Louisville game back to where it was. And I think it's a testament that if you really look at it, we moved that game from Friday to Saturday. Other than that, the schedule we were given, we hit every mark. And I think that is a testament to what we accomplished. But yeah, no, Julian, I think that's a really good point. And it's those are the variables that can shift the virus, is getting them out of a rhythm. And I'm always going to be honest with you, that scared me. and I was very happy to get that game back to where it was.
Pat, Jeff, thank you very much for all your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe.
We'll see you for an end of the year wrap up whenever we set that up with J-Bomb. All right? Sound good? Dan, very disappointed you didn't have any questions today, by the way.
Next up, everyone, we will have Alec Lindstrom and Max Richardson joining us. Same format as before. Just raise your digital hand. We'll call on you for questions. Guys, thanks for joining us. We will start things off with Rich.
Hi, Max. Most of the upperclassmen on this team had a bowl game blow up on them in Dallas in 2018. You saw how fragile these things can be. Was that any kind of consideration from the upperclassmen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the past 2 years we've had a bit of a bad taste in our mouth about how the bowl games have gone about. Last year was delayed almost 2 hours, and the year prior was canceled. But this year, especially just being what it was, had the most effect on our decision for this bowl game. And considering everything and everybody's feelings, it was really a team decision. As a team, we came to our senses on this one.
We'll go next to Emma.
Hey, this question's also for Max. So for you guys as seniors, you sort of, UVA would have been your last game without you even knowing it. Have you had any opportunity to sort of think about not, putting a real cap on your college career?
Well, I think the way we went about things this year, because the COVID-19 pandemic has just been going on throughout the entirety of the season, is how precious and how vital each game and each moment is. So I think the closure is in how we handled the overall situation, because in June, we didn't know whether we would be able to play one game or not. So playing 11, I think, is a bit of closure in itself.
We'll go next to Julian.
What's up, guys? How you doing? First and foremost, congrats on making it through the year. That's a challenge, and you guys took it on. So that's the first thing. Secondly, when you guys start talking to Jeff about trying to gauge the temperature on a team, can you just walk me through kind of what he's asking you and then what you're trying to find out from your teammates? Secondly, I'm not going to lie. When he said he was going to give you guys the rewards, I was like, oh, cool. All of you guys are getting PlayStation 5s. But when you guys find out that you guys are going to be able to go home and see your families or whatever, how did that hit for you?
Yeah, so just the whole process of it is, you can tell from the whole year, everybody was sacrificing it, and you saw it in the COVID results. And then just staying home, away from your family, away from your parents can be a lot. Some guys are from California, and they haven't seen their mom or dad in however many months it's been, 4 or 5 months. And just, you could tell guys, it's mentally exhausting, going from June to December without seeing your family and just kind of grinding. And then the whole COVID aspect added on to it. It's a lot mentally on a person, especially a 19, 18, 20-year-old kid being away from home and not being able to do the little things to escape. Like usually in a normal year, you can go out and hang out with your buddies and kind of escape from it all. But it's just mentally exhausting for a player emotionally, and just gauging it throughout the year. You could tell guys miss their family. It's a lot, especially this time. I think we grew closer as a team, but you could tell guys wanted to go home and see their parents, see their siblings and everything. And just Coach Hafley asked us about it and met with us. And I think that's just a testament to him, because he really cares about us and how we feel. And he really cares about our personal life and our mental, like how we feel mentally about everything. And then the reward is awesome. It's nice to go home and see everybody, but just for everybody, you don't know what's going on in people's lives. So that they can get home and see their family, kind of be with them and get a break. Because if we went to a bowl game, we don't know when it would have been. And like Coach was saying earlier, having 10 days off it can be a lot on a person to refresh and get back going after it for next year.
We'll go next.
I would agree and add that the reason we stuck together so well this season is because of the way Coach Hafley's led us. And what he said to us was, talk to me as if I'm not your head coach, but I'm just another guy in the room. So he really wanted to get a feel for us emotionally, and he was really able to connect with us.
We'll go next to Trevor.
And Max, I'm just wondering if you could speak to when you got up in front of everyone and just told them that their season was over and that the seniors' careers were over, just what the moment was like for you and just how you think your past experiences prepared you to do that.
Well, I think being a senior twice, being able to be a fourth-year senior last year and then go on to do a fifth year this year has kind of built a sense of understanding for me. I understand how important each moment is. And I think what we've done a great job of this season is valuing the journey and valuing every moment we've had along the way. So when it came time today for us to wrap it up together, I think we appreciated how far we'd come, and everybody was content with how they handled themselves through this difficult year.
We'll go next to Andrea.
For both of you guys, I was hoping you could just give us your personal experience with making the types of sacrifices that you all had to make in terms of not seeing family, not seeing friends, being alone in your room at night to be able to even make it through a season the way that you all did.
Yeah, I think this year has been different, but it's important that we value the time we had.
Yeah. So kind of going with what Max said earlier, it really makes you appreciate everything you have. In the summer, kind of like I was talking earlier, the mental exhaustion you have of it's day 22 of camp, and it's like, am I practicing for no reason? Why am I doing this? It really makes you appreciate everything you have and these opportunities that you have. And now it's tough for us because, like Coach said earlier, there's no fans. Your family can't see you play. Ever since I've been in high school, I can remember my mom yelling and ringing the bell when I'm running out there and everything. And I know where she sits. So it's like I'm sitting in the game in my break, and I look up, I can see her, and it's like okay, you can do this. You can get through it. And it just makes you appreciate everything you have. And just the sacrifice, I mean, the numbers don't lie. You saw no positive cases throughout the whole year. So, we're college kids, so we like to go out. We like to go have fun. You can't do that. And you might see some other kids are, but we're sacrificing for each other, for the team, because you don't want to be the guy. You want the seniors, everybody to have this whole year. And I think the guys really appreciated what they have, so they could see that. And I think someone asked earlier about the seniors capping off the season. I mean, we're one of the only teams in the country that played 11 games. Not a lot of teams have done that. We haven't had one game canceled. We had one game moved one day. I mean, it just makes you appreciate our teammates, what they did for us on sacrificing and not being like a normal college kid, and that's like that for every year, but this year especially, so we can play all our games and the seniors can play all their games and have every opportunity to appreciate every opportunity.
We're going to take 3 more questions first with Andy.
Max, you touched on how Jeff was really available this year for the players to have leadership and to have their voices heard. I was just wondering, I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen this. You guys obviously talked about the Jacob Blake incident in the summer. You talked about the election. You had practice time reserved for that, and you also scaled back practice time mid-season to help with the fatigue of everyone. So I was just wondering, what's it like to have a leader like that is always listening, even when it's off the field matters that come into play?
Oh, it's great. I think it's genuine to Coach Hafley. It means a lot to him to not only have his input and have his coach's input, but it's also important for him to hear from the players. So all together, it's always a team decision. It's never just me. It's about what's best for the players, the coaches, the staff, and everyone. So it's really nice to be able to connect with our head coach, and when he's able to say things that bring him back to our level, like talk to me as if I'm just not the head coach, but you're honest, truthful, everything you're feeling inside. It's great to be able to have those connections, and it's really genuine.
I'll also say it brings us closer as a team. You can tell this year we've had a lot of fun this year as a team. It brings us closer to the coaches and as a team, and like you're saying, kind of off the field issues. It really makes you learn and really get closer and into somebody's mind of what they go through. So I think the biggest thing was it just brought us so much closer as a team, and not even just for a team aspect, as friends and as a family.
And we're going to wrap things up with Julian.
Thanks again. For Max, this is not necessarily the year you signed up for when you decided to come back, but is there a way for you to kind of describe whatever the intentions might have been when you came back, whether it was to to play one more year, maybe to raise your profile a little bit, and what you might have gotten out of this year that you didn't think, whether it was leading a team through a crisis and what other sort of experiences or skills you might have gained in coming back. And then for Alex, man, can you even register a bowl game when you're playing 9 straight weeks in a pandemic? Are you even thinking about like possibly playing one more after this? Or you just like, man, let me get through this,
Yeah, I will repeat what you said in that this was not the year I was expecting when I signed up for it, but I am so grateful for everything that's happened. And although the pandemic was difficult times, I think we all have to appreciate what it helped us do, or what came out of it. And these new coaches, the defensive coaches, the connections with Coach Hafley, and even having a new athletic director to connect with this year has been so it's been a breath of fresh air, and I've learned so much. And I think although it has been different, and nothing is how you're going to expect it, I'm grateful for the difficulties that this year placed upon us because of what we got out of it. And looking back, if we were to say 11 games in June, I never would have thought we'd been here. So it's great.
Yeah, kind of going off that. Like Max said, it wasn't the final year they want, with the whole crisis going on. But I will say some of the positives this year brought that I never thought I would get was again being closer to everybody on the team. Because of COVID, you had to mix up the locker room. So I got to talk and make relationships with some people that you usually don't talk to, because there's 100-something dudes on the team, and just the relationships that I've created this year with different position group guys and different guys has been incredible. And it's brought us closer as a team. And it's really, like Coach said, it set the foundation for further years of how close of a team we are, and really how to sacrifice for the team. And then just back to the bowl game question, like when you're looking to a bowl game, like Max just said, it not really. You're going week by week, and you're appreciating every opportunity that you have. So having the 11 games that we had, it was awesome. And but you could tell it was a toll on a lot of the guys. So I'm just grateful for this year, for everybody that I've met this year, the relationships I've created, and then the coaches just bringing us together and really leading us through this. And then guys like Max in the leadership council and captains that lead you through it and can talk to you as a player aspect, as like someone your own age going through it with you and helping lead guys like myself or even younger guys through the whole crisis and being there for you.
Max, Alec, thank you very much for all your time. We really appreciate it. To everyone that joined today, thank you for tuning in.